Good everyone, welcome to today's video. Today is the Spade impressions on the Panzer 475. Well, obviously the V's, well, it's technically the V. I don't know, Panzer 470, whatever. um, this was a tank destroyer originally that I did not like back in the days of arcade because, well, I don't know why I never used to like this thing. Can never really remember all that why. But after having it in the hangar, gathering dust, well, technically in the garage, gathering dust for the last 2 years since I last played it, I thought, what better time than ever to drag it out after the guns had a little bit of a buff. Boy, was I happy to bring this thing out, is what I'll say. Now, when I was spading the 76 Shermans, this little bugger was my main threat, because of this armor. Now, on paper, it doesn't look all, well, it doesn't look all that fantastic. However, this frontal armor will stop anything up to a 17-pounder's APDS or a Comet's APDS. At close range, however, the 17-pounder can go through. Do bear that in mind. The lower glacis is a little less protected, but I really didn't care because the transmission's directly behind that, and this stopped all the shells from getting through. Your lower glacis is roughly about the same. Again, your transmission will stop it. Now, obviously, the gun on this thing is from the Panther. Obviously, the Panther D and all that lot. It is a very effective gun. This gun is very capable of servicing its targets adequately, penetrating its targets adequately, and doing adequate damage. Now, when I was actually researching about this vehicle, I found out what the name of the gun mantlet was, or the name of the design for this gun mantlet. It's what they call a pig's head. Now, I'm not certain what kind of crack the Germans have been smoking during that time, but I don't think a pig's head has a 75mm gun sticking out of it with an MG42 sat right next to it. A machine gun on this thing is pretty much useless. I wouldn't even bother trying to use it. Maybe turn the hull and shoot something with a machine gun. But it's purely just there for anti-infantry defense in real life, and maybe taking out a small truck. But even then, the 75 is perfectly adequate for dealing with those targets. Your main threat, obviously, will be Jackson's, even in up tier. The SA-50, I believe, can punch right through your front. Obviously, Comets, firing APDS, Challengers, firing APDS and being at close range, Achilles as well. But your armor, for the most part, should be able to stand up. Now, there is one thing I'm going to say. Do not angle your armor. Because if you angle your armor like this, they can just shoot right here and go straight through. I have died numerous times because I've made this mistake. Obviously, as I got towards about mid-spade, I learnt this lesson and I would just keep the armor frontally. Now your gun mantlet is very strong. This is pretty much impenetrable by everything up to APDS. Obviously, the tank itself does have an add-on armor package, which I highly suggest you put on the tank, because if the 70-pounder hits one of your additional tracks, it will not actually go through at close range. I found that out when I was fighting an Achilles at about 200 meters away. Obviously, he lost the fight, but same story with the Jackson. The Jackson was firing a APCBC and it bounced off here. This armor is surprisingly trollish. Use it, and I will show you that in this replay. So let's jump right in. Now the one thing to note about this tank is I recommend pulling it in a sort of hold down position. Now obviously since it is a small vehicle on a Panzer IV chassis, I highly recommend you wait for teammates to go first, because you're not the fastest thing out there and you are not going to be the well, you're not going to be the world's quickest thing in general. I mean, it's maneuverable. It's on a Panzer IV chassis, perfectly adequate, which you will see here. I was pretty much almost spaded at this point. In fact, no, this is the battle that actually finished the Spade now. This is the last time I drove this thing, and you're about to see why. You also get 6 smoke grenade launchers, which is indicated by the small hole here, just next to the loader's optics. That is, well, I believe that is the loader. It might be the commander, one or two. That fires 6 smoke grenades. They have come in very useful. I highly suggest you use them in combat. The MG42 I've only really used to mark a target. And obviously I've been using the 75mm gun. Now I have no idea what his IS was dragging his heels. I reckon he was a stock IS-2 because stock IS-2s are pretty slow. Spaded impressions on that thing will be coming soon. So the Panzer 470, it takes a little while to get moving because you've only got 300 horsepower. If you had the engine from that IS-2, you'd be flying, but unfortunately you do not have the engine of the IS-2. Now you're about to see something that pisses me off royally. You're about to see a player in an Avenger, and I believe a Hellcat as well, who have rushed one of my favourite spots. Now they always do this by loading smoke and getting in there. Yep, there you can see Spitfire Mark 1 in his Avenger. He has literally just screamed in. The M4 Tipo nails the M18, who the Puma did not see somehow. It is at this point I spot the Avenger and I immediately hit the brakes and start reversing. I get rammed by the IS-2, but luckily the T-3045 cleans his clock. The driver of the Avenger, as you would imagine, wasn't very happy. And if we go over to the chat, he's just put, fuck. And I just simply put, that's why you don't rush. You rushed far too ahead of your team, buddy, and you expected your team to do the work for you. That's not how it works. M4 Tipo takes out that 76 Sherman Jumbo. And I saw briefly there was a Churchill Mark 7 in the smoke. And I serviced him adequately with a shot to the turret. That was a bit of a bad shot there. It hit the lower glacis and obviously it's got additional track armor on the Churchill. But the gunner comes back into the turret, making my job a lot easier. First kill. Now this is a perfect spot which I'm about to show you. However, you can't always get your gun over, can you? If you drive just a little bit forward, you can get your gun down. And doing this to a jumbo is very satisfying. Straight through the front, instant kill, second kill. And now we're going to make a reference to the Great Mariana's Turkey Shoot by having multiple tanks try and charge the open here. And they are going to pay the price for it. Obviously I spot a jumbo first, but I go for the M4A2 because it's got the better gun. I see the jumbo fire a shot at me. I obviously move to take a shot. It bounces unfortunately, but I look at the binos and I notice the Sherman Firefly. I target the Firefly since he's got not just weaker armor but a better gun. Fourth kill. I then target the Comet due to its APDS. Single shot, there's my ace. And can I just point out, I did not take a lick of damage in this battle. All of these shots that I hit in my front plate bounced. Straight through the jumbo's front plate, 6th kill. And then we get this really daft M19 player who decides to think 40mm Bofors is going to have a chance of killing my vehicle. I give him a taste for the MG42, it doesn't do anything. Take out his transmission. I don't know how I didn't hull break him in that shot, but this next shot does hull break, so I aim a little bit higher, and I hit him smack on the gun barrels. Job done. 7th kill. Well, that was a quick turn of events, wasn't it? In just over 5 minutes, I've picked up 7 kills, and don't worry, one of my team is going to notice that at some point. You can see all the holes on the front plates in my tank. This thing has very good armor at the front. The side, not so much. Do not rely on your side armor unless it's stopping 50 cal. Your rear armor, which protects the engine, is vulnerable to that. I put a witty comment here in chat saying, anyone else want to try that road? Because let's be real, nothing's gone through my front plate. A 76 Sherman pulls out and nails the KV-1B here. I fire a shot but miss, unfortunately. The KV-1 was going to die regardless. But either way, I wish I'd have performed the shot much more adequately. I put one through the Sherman, critical his tank. He then pulls back. To be honest, I don't blame him. I thought I could shoot through that building, but I can't. But this spot is perfect because all they can hit is your frontal plate, which is the slope part, and they can also hit your pig's head gun mantlet. I don't know why they would continue to push down this road, but that's their choice. And here we see an M18. I take a shot but just missed by a fraction. I was annoyed at that shot. And there is a P-51 Mustang that has just flown overhead. Well, no, it was a Spitfire. They all sound the same. I do apologise. I thought it was a P-51 winning the battle. That's why I had that mindset. But don't worry, the M18 decides to come back, and well, that was never going to end well for you, was it, buddy? M18 dead, 8th killed. Yeah, no, this is a bit of a turn of events. We've gone from nearly dying to an Avenger in the first 2 minutes to getting 8 kills by just sitting hold down on a little tank destroyer. And here comes another shooting range. 76 Sherman, dead, single shot. Only leaving the commander, only just alive. And that's my 9th kill. And there's another Sherman. Or, rather, was another Sherman. 10th and final kill for the match. And here we have an M16 half-track who I was trying to get a hull break shot on, as you can imagine. Because it's a lot easier to kill an M16 and other vehicles like that. I wanted to wait until he gave me his crew compartment. But I hit the freaking structure of that building, which is not able to be penetrated. And there you go, Admiral LT has just put, "Wow, Joseph." Yes, I know, mate. I have cleaned up this, well, the enemy team extremely well. I'm sure I've made a couple rage at the same time. Unfortunately, the M13 or M16 or whatever it was dies to a T-34-85 before I can do anything. Unfortunate, but even so. I do get the assist in a moment on Scalivag, and then there he goes, and that was my final contribution to this battle. So as soon as I exit Banner View, we're going to leave it here. Once I eventually exit Banner View. Trust me, I spent a lot of time in Banner View in this battle. And there we go. So what did I think of this little thing? Well, you've seen it here. The armor is absolutely amazing. Just like I say, your mobility is not very great when stuck. It's not too bad when upgraded. But your biggest threats are going to be Comets, Challengers with APDS, Charioteers in an up tier, and other various tanks of that sort of battle rating. You really do have to take those into account because they can easily punch through your frontal armor. 17 pounds at close range might be able to go through. Again, bear that in mind. But other than that, this is a cracking Spade vehicle. I believe my kill-death ratio was somewhere in the region of about 8 to 1. In fact, we can actually have a look. We'll have a brief look and then I will end the video here. 15 deaths, 1 air kill on a Firefly, and a 102 ground targets destroyed. So if we think about it this way, that was a, what, 7 to 1 almost? Very impressive stats in the vehicle. Very impressed with the vehicle. And if there's another tank destroyer like this, such as the Stug 4, which I will be soon going over in a potential additions video at some point, I would love to see the Stug 4. And well, if it has a similar performance to this, I will be more than gladly to add it to my hanger collection. Anyway, I will let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's Spade videos. One last thing to note, please do be aware of your rear armor, because it is embarrassing if you get flanked by an M15 and he murders you. Your rear casemate's thick enough, but not this. You can get killed here by 50 cal. Just thought I'd make that point clear. And if you happen to get killed by a 50 cal in this thing from the rear, please send me a replay because I want to laugh my ass off. Anyway, catch you all on the next one.